Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the 360 Sports Show. I'm Ada Pizzelli. He is Christian Lauber, and we will be discussing the biggest stories from the past week in sports. You can reach us anytime through the comment section of any of the live streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And if you happen to be one of our podcast listeners hearing this after the fact, you can always email the360sportshow@gmail.com, and we will read your messages on the next show. So, anywho's, right to action here. Christian, I think the story of the hour in sports is March Madness. And we spoke at length last week about our Final Four predictions. Who are the number one seeds? Who will get through? Who's not going to get there? Who could get there? Is Coach K, is this it? Will this be his final weekend of basketball? Matchups are set. Duke and UNC on one side. Villanova and Kansas on the other. The historic run for St. Peter's comes to an end. Whole lot to kind of break down in these matchups, but where do you want to start first with the past weekend of NCAA
Well,
basketball?
we'll just, we'll start with your team over there, St. Peter's. They were looking prime for a run, and then they got blown off the floor. Much as many seeds do as you get lower and lower here into, top 8, top 4. Yeah. Now we're back at 1-2 and then 2, and then I guess UNC, they're the 8, but still, 1 and 2, 2 and 8. And your Cinderella story is now done. I mean, a lot of those teams kind of get weeded out around that time.
Before that time, usually.
Well, true for St. Peter in
15.
St. Peter's case, yeah. But yeah, they just they got outmatched eventually.
They ran into what they hadn't run into yet. I said this last week. A team that plays hard defensively. They don't really have one guy who can just get his shot on offense, so it's a team, style offense, a system. And they just ran into a team that, one, had guys who could just make their own shots when they had to. Love and Mac just were making shots early on. And for the first time in this whole run for them, they were doing it with their defense. UNC really wasn't flustered. They would come out and shut teams down early, and they weren't blowing anybody off the floor offensively. It was all with the defense, and UNC had answers on one end, and also they had answers at the other end. They got up early, which 7-0 the start for UNC. That was the biggest deficit to that point for St. Peter's in the tournament. Absurd as a 15 seed that was the case. So they just ran into a team that, like we said, a team's either going to shoot the lights out or is just going to have matchups that they can match up with them and beat them. And that's what happened.
UNC's a good team, though. UNC's the other side of the coin. They're kind of rolling right now. I mean, their point differential in the tournament is like no less than 6 or 8. So they're like the one team. It's been pretty consistent throughout the whole tournament.
And without St. Peter's, they would be the Cinderella. I mean,
True.
When you think about it, I mean, granted, they're not playing like an 8 seed, but they would be a Cinderella-y type team, given where they got to. And like you said, they're playing really, really well. I was impressed with their guys. obviously an incredible run for St. Peter's. I mean, it's like hard. Like UNC's gonna play next weekend. We'll have a chance to like keep more praise on UNC potentially, and we'll talk about their matchup here in a second. But just an insane run for such a small school. I mean, I gotta pull it up again. I wanted to see how many kids. St. Peter's, 2,100 kids. That's how big that school
Ridiculous.
is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like that's D3 small school college size. So to make a run like this, just awesome, awesome for them. Do you think that a run like this bolsters that program? Like, can we see? Will they get kids? Will we see St. Peter's back
No.
next year?
Stop
No,
it.
maybe not
Stop.
in the Elite Eight, but I mean, back in the tournament.
Oh, well, maybe as a 15 or 6. Yeah, maybe as a 15 again. I don't know. I mean, that's hard to say. But usually these teams that go on runs like that are kind of done after that. That's just, look, the bigger schools come out of these things most of the time. Majority of the time. It's not always a 1 and a 2, but it's usually, between 1 and 5, somewhere in
Yeah.
there. So
Oh, well, I don't see them
I
like
think
coming
should
back
they-
to win it all, but I mean, like becoming something like this gets you the notoriety to keep getting kids who are maybe interested. Like, oh wow, like wait, I could go to the NCAA tournament if I come play for St. Peter's. Like, there's gonna be a boost for them. Do we see them?
You love this team.
I do love this team. It's awesome.
You
The
love this team so
Peacock.
much.
I got Peacock fever, baby.
Peacocks are going in the ball locker after tonight.
Oh no! Oh man.
Yeah.
Maybe we will. We will have to do that after this segment. We will have to lock the Peacocks away. I don't know. I think there's going to be a
smaller
boost.
School.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them get a boost and be back at least the next 2-3 years. Like
you're trying to will this into existence right now. Just calm down. Let me be the voice of reason here. They might be back in the tournament, and I don't know how much notoriety they get in terms of lower tier players. Like maybe they get an NBA caliber player once every 2 years, 3 years. Or maybe someone just wants to go play, and it's a fun team to at least join because you have a shot at getting in the thing. I don't know if you're not gonna win the tournament probably, but you at least get in the NCAA tournament and be competitive. So maybe lesser tier players, for me, if I was had dreams to go in the NBA, I'm not that good, so I would go play for St. Peter's.
Yeah. Well, and there's also, I mean, a lot of this was credited to Shaheen Holloway, their head coach, and there's rumors he may go to Seton Hall. So, if he leaves now and kind of rides the coattails of this, who replaces him, and then is it really the same dynamic and situation and all that? But I don't know. I hope they get back. I think it would be a great story to see them get back to the tournament next year. I think that would be good. So before we shut the door on them,
Lung bath. Woo.
Any other St. Peter's notes before we move on to the remaining teams?
No, you covered it all, man. You covered it all.
All right. So I guess that means until further notice.
Until next year.
To the ball locker with St. Peter's.
Until next year. They got a year to go, and then we'll see, how much they bolster their roster. Maybe they'll get the next Michael Jordan over there.
Maybe. I gotta just do that one more time because I love this. To the ball locker.
We're gonna need it. We're gonna need a sound to take them out too, though.
That's true. Like a
Yeah.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that for next week. When major news breaks, the top recruit of the nation decides to go to St. Peter's. Anyway, the remaining teams. We get I didn't even realize this, so they were talking about this. Duke UNC, their first ever time meeting in the tournament?
Crazy, right?
How is that? That almost seemed impossible to me that would be the case. That makes, the disappointment of wanting to see a 15 seed keep going, but the fact that you're going to get a Duke UNC, not just a tournament game, Final Four.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would love to be down there, around those campuses this weekend, because oh my gosh, it's gonna be mayhem,
Yeah.
absolute mayhem. And I think it should be a good game. I mean, like you said, I mean, Duke, I honestly, it'd be nauseating if Duke wins the whole thing just because of
Oh
it's
yeah,
Duke
you better believe it.
and
Yeah.
Coach K like getting to ride off into the sunset would just be insufferable. Love him, great coach all time, blah blah blah. It just the coverage of it would be insufferable.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
So I rooting for UNC. And I think they've got a great. You don't think they have a chance? No chance, Christian?
Oh no, I think they have a chance. I just can't. I cannot root for them. I have ties to like NC State through my dad's and my dad, and
see.
like Tar
It's a
Heels.
family matter.
Yeah, nah, I can't do that.
Can't bring yourself to wear that Tar Heel blue. But you are kind of wearing a Tar Heel blue right now.
It's borderline,
That's actually more of a St. Peter's blue.
but yeah, R.I.P. St. Peter's.
It's peacock blue.
But no, yeah, no, I can't do it. So I'm going Blue Devils. But I think UNC has a chance against anyone right now. I think they're probably, from what I've seen anyway. I mean, look, there's some pretty good teams left here on the other side as well. But UNC is playing some of the best college basketball I've seen throughout the tournament.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the way they can do it, they're kind of doing it inside out now. What they did yesterday was, instead of trying to just like feed the post, and let St. Peter set the defense, they were getting guys into the paint and then getting it out to guys like Manic. They don't have any one guy that's like an imposing force. I mean, though, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Baycott. I'm totally blanking on names. This is awful. Yeah, Baycott. Armando Baycott. I mean, 22 rebounds. At first, they said that at one point in the broadcast, like, he's got 12 points and 17 rebounds. And I'm like, did they say 7? Did somebody misread? And I look, no, 17. 17 rebounds.
Yeah.
Wound up, what did I just say? 22? 22 rebounds? Absurd. So, and then if it's not those guys inside, you got Caleb Love, who early on, guys who can just get shots and make shots. So they can kind of do it in a variety of ways. And like you said, they've got that chip on their shoulder from being an 8 seed when they don't think they should be an 8 seed. So it should be a good game. So I guess you had, despite probably it's like the lesser of two evils, Christian, you're gonna root for Duke, because you can't root for UNC, but you won't be rooting for Duke next week or come Monday.
Well,
you don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe as Tom
we
Brady
don't know.
said, maybe.
No.
On the other side. Go figure. I said last week the number 1 seed that I thought wouldn't make it through the weekend was Kansas. And they are the only one still standing. So quickly on that game, obviously a crash landing for the Providence College Friars. This is not even hyperbole, the worst halves of basketball.
Yeah, terrible.
In NCAA and in their program's history. And then on the other side, they play like one of the best ever, which just makes it so that much more disappointing for them, because they could have kept going. Just a absolutely dreadful start. I mean, they fight back, give them credit. They take a lead in the second half and then fall behind again. And then, the last 2 minutes of that game was one of these foul. And the other team's like, oh, well, we don't want them to get a 3, so we'll foul them too. And it took like a half hour to wrap up that game. But
yeah,
tough finish for Providence. And Kansas kind of rolling right along. But I think at this point there's no gimmies. So what do you think about the Kansas and Villanova matchup?
I think I like Villanova, but I don't know. I think Kansas had a weird game against the Friars as well. They only won by 5 on the scoreboard, but like you said, Providence was absolutely terrible in the first half. But outside of that, they blew out the Hurricanes. I mean, who were 10 seeds. So I guess you kind of you see how these seeds kind of play out as you get down to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But
But they were down. They were not in control of that game, at halftime and midway, early on in the second. And then, I mean, the second half ends up being 47-15. They run away with it. Miami just kept taking haymakers and couldn't get off the mat.
And the thing about March Madness too, I don't think, unfortunately, the previous game doesn't really matter. So to me, if you just see blowout, that doesn't mean they're going to blow everybody out. So I like Villanova. I think they've had a little bit, not by much, but a little bit of a tougher road. I want to say they played Houston last round, so maybe a little bit more tested, playing some higher competition than what we saw on Kansas' side. But I mean, probably not by much, pretty minuscule. But I still I think I like Villanova going into that one.
Yeah, I mean, Nova's path. They beat a 15 seed. They beat Delaware 80-60. Then Ohio State 71-61, win by 10. They play Michigan in the Sweet 16, 3-point game at the half. Pretty much an even fight. They just kind of kept the lead, 63-65 versus the 11th seed Warriors. Again, Wolverines. Another team that, if you didn't have a St. Peter's, they were a Cinderella.
Yeah, they were playing pretty good too. They were playing pretty well down the stretch here and into the tournament. So,
and then obviously Houston 6-point win for Villanova. So, yeah, I mean, in the end, it is unfortunate that we're just stuck with the same old names. I would have liked for a Houston to sneak back in there again.
Yeah, someone out of that side would have been nice, but hey, this is what we get, I guess. This is the way it usually goes. It's 1 through 4.
Oh well. So, let's go ahead and pick them. I say, because the final will be on Monday, correct? Correct.
Yeah, it should be Monday night.
Is Monday night. So, that being said, perhaps we do a Tuesday show next week. That way we're not talking about it and then it's happening and we look like fools.
Well, as opposed to what?
As opposed to looking like fools after the fact.
Okay, all right. Just so we're clear on that. Yeah.
I do gotta, let's see. This all hinges on work. Is there work? So, and there is work. So, never mind. We won't be doing a Tuesday show next week. I guess we're just going to have to look like fools
figure it out
during the tournament.
I'm okay with being a fool, whatever.
Yes, embrace it. Embrace the
I'm here every week to be a fool.
So at least we can pick. We have no idea who will be in the final, so I guess we'll talk about that on Monday night. But who do you think's going to get there? I mean, I already know how you're picking it one way, but pick it for real now.
Duke Villanova.
Duke Villanova. I'm going to go UNC Kansas.
Wow, that's a shock. I figured you'd go right to the opposite.
I mean, I didn't. I if you would pick Kansas, I still was going to go with Kansas. I'm sticking with Kansas. Either way, not just to be different. Christian.
What a bore that would be, huh? Duke, Kansas.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. So, anywho's. Something that is fun. If you have any thoughts or questions on any of the March Madness stuff, go be sure to drop that in the comment section of the live streams at any point during the rest of the broadcast. But for now, we're going to move on, and we're going to get to one of our fun segments, Hot and Not.
It's time for Hot.
Hot.
You want to talk about hot?
Hot.
Please stop doing that.
Doing what?
Continue. Go ahead.
And not.
God, is he a moron? Oh my God, he doesn't shut up.
It's so stupid.
Stupid decisions.
Dum-dums. The naughtiest knot of the year.
Oof. Suck fest. Suck sauce.
On the 360 Sports Show.
All right, Christian. Hot and not. The good, the bad, ups and downs. Lead it off. Tell me what you like this week. What's on the hot list?
Well, I'm just gonna go basic again because I feel like I'm gonna.
That's
come
just
out
how
and
you
do
are.
this
You're just a
I'm a
basic.
basic B. Yeah, I feel like I have to go Celtics again. I mean, I feel like a broken record at this point, but it's just they took
When
over
you're
first,
still on fire.
and they took over first place in the conference last night. Now we have injury. We'll get to that later, but. First place in the conference, when you look back to just before the year turned to 2022, this wonderful year of 2022, they were not great. They were like 4 or 5 games under 500, I want to say, and now they are just absolutely crushing. And I mean crushing people. It's not an understatement to say they're embarrassing people. And kind of the league at this point. I mean, they're beating everybody, good teams, bad teams. Teams that are like, even with them, like the Timberwolves were last night, just blow them off the floor after they kind of stopped turning the ball over. So I want Celtics again. Things might change over the next week because we only have 8 games left, but insane to think about how down we were on this team and to see where they are now is just ridiculous.
Oh, absurd. Absolutely absurd. I said it last week. I can't. There's no in-season turnaround like this in my memory of a team that didn't fire their coach, that didn't like totally blow up its roster. They moved on from Dennis Schroeder and Josh Richardson.
Right.
That's not the same as like trading Tatum or trading Brown. Like some of these teams do these things. The Cavs in 2018, they made the Kyrie trade in the summer, and they had Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder and all these guys, and they were trying to make it work. And at the trade deadline, they completely blew it up.
Right.
And brought in all these different players. Let's bring in Jeff Green and let's get all these other spare parts for LeBron. And it worked. For a team to not do either of those things and just play better, I mean, it shouldn't be like crazy to say, oh, a team just is healthy and playing better. But it always feels like that's such a hard thing at the pro level to see happen. Because it's a long season, and once the season starts to go some way, it's easy to say, well, it's a lost season, and you got to give credit to Ime Udoka. I mean, the guys, we've known they had the talent, and we knew they had to get a little healthy. Now, Tatum said, this week, if I've been playing, he started the year horribly. He's like, if I've been playing this way the whole year, I'd be the MVP.
And he's right, too.
He's right.
Ridiculous.
So
I mean, he's got to be in top 5 conversation now in terms of MVP voting, right? I mean, it's just like the team has gone from like kind of out of the playoffs into the playoff tournament to first seed. And I mean, he's playing at an unreal level. I think he's doing more than just scoring and what we knew he could do. He's passing ridiculously, rebounding, everything like that. So
to see a team do that and go from one to the other very easily is just incredible.
It's kind of stupid when you think about it.
No, it is stupid, Christian. I look and I see Celtics number 1 seed. And like I almost, it's like we should go back and watch a game from December.
Yeah.
Like how
bad it was.
Like it's been a long the 2013 I watched almost every game of the 2013-2014 Celtics, who won all of I think 26 games maybe. Because I knew it was a rebuild. I knew they were going to suck. I wanted to see guys like Vander Blue and all these random guys get time. The team had like 80 players on the roster throughout the course of the year.
Vander Blue.
Jameer Nelson was a Celtic. Like, it's all these crazy, and I said, I don't care. This year, I didn't want to watch the games. With all this talent, I said, I can't watch this team suck and not try and lose, blow leads, look inept. It's disgusting. And now it's like must see TV.
Oh, yeah.
Everything they do turns to gold. And now, we'll get to more things here. There's some injury stuff with them. They play tonight against the Raptors. A whole bunch of guys are just sitting out because they got a game against Miami on Wednesday. That's a little bit more important. So, yes, the Celtics, as boring as it may be, they still deserve their spot on the hot list. I'm going to go with something that we haven't really talked about yet. It's not like breaking news this week, but it's something we just hadn't touched on that I put on the hot list. Maybe you might differ from me. Differ from me, Christian.
Got to get one of those out of the way.
Which is the broadcasting shakeup in the NFL. So Joe Buck is going to be the voice of Monday Night Football. He grabs his old buddy Troy Aikman. They slide over to ESPN. Al Michaels is going to go to Amazon and do Thursday Night Football. NBC, heir apparent Mike Tirico slides right back up. Obviously, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are still together. Jim, for now. But
It's great, Jim. Everything is great, Jim.
everything is awesome. That's what we need. We need Lego Tony Romo dancing around. I think it's awesome. I mean, Monday night has been just not the same since you got rid of Tirico and Gruden. Like it just
Yeah, I
had
agree. Yeah.
it had great chemistry. It had a vibe about it. Like the games felt like they had some gravity, like with those guys calling it, and everybody sensed. Not that they've been like horrible, but like it just like McDonough wasn't bad. It just wasn't the same. And then they struggled to fill the
McDonough's
second
good in
seat.
hockey, but yeah, Monday
Yeah,
Night Football, he kind of flopped. I mean, I like him personally, but a lot of people
Yeah,
they
it
don't like
just
the voice cracks, and he's too
yeah.
I
I've done that, but again, it's like in hockey, it's like game-winning overtime goal. You
Yeah,
can't help but get
yeah.
excited. You get like one thing in a game to be excited about. That's it. The Astros, James. So and they're all their other experiments since have not worked. So hey, you bring in Buck and Aikman. We know that works. Have they said what is Fox's plan? Are they just gonna move up one of the
don't know
guys
if they've said yet.
who's below them? So I guess that could turn into a knot, depending upon who it is. I think it's good. Monday Night Football will have some. It'll feel like it has some weight to it. Again, obviously Joe Buck has called a number of big games.
Okay, here's your replacement, just real quick before you go into it. Kevin Burkhardt.
He's awesome. He's great.
So he's, I guess, will be in place of Joe Buck. So
Yeah.
who his partner is, who knows? But maybe it's Greg Olson or one of those guys. I don't know.
Yeah, no, Burkhardt, he's good. He's really good. So that's good that they're just kind of because he's been the number 2 guy. So they're just bumping everybody up. So I think it's awesome. I mean, obviously kind of a little bit disappointed that I won't hear Al Michaels. I have to go to Amazon on Thursday nights, But I mean, in a way, Michaels can kind of like he's gonna cruise here. I mean, he's also getting a bundle of cash.
Oh yeah.
You got to imagine from Amazon. So good for him. I mean, he's on the back 9 anyways. He's probably on the 17th or 18th hole.
Still good though.
He's still awesome. So the only thing that means is that I don't think we're going to get him calling a Super Bowl again. Because I love him and Chris Collinsworth. And again, they've called so many big games that hearing them call a game, it just makes you feel, well, obviously Collinsworth is, never mind. I mean, he's staying. Who's going to be the color guy with Michaels then? Because I think Collinsworth's staying with Tirico. So,
Haven't heard.
either way, the change I put on the hot list, if that makes sense. We may not know like the specific people here and there we might nitpick or might not enjoy, but I think overall it's going to make the total viewing experience better. So, hadn't discussed it. So
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think Monday Night Football will be well improved for sure. I wasn't too crazy about the guys that were doing it. Louis Riddick, I think, was one of them, and kind of they kind of like shuffled it around like the last 2 or 3 years here, ever since the departure of Gruden and now I'm forgetting his name, but Tirico, I guess. But ever since then, it's just been a kind of a jumble of guys.
Yeah. So anywho, moving on to the not Christian. What is your? There are a couple of knots to pick from this
There's
week,
a couple ones. Yeah. I had to go with Antonio Brown. Oh, this guy. He walks up to some random guy that has the appearance of Pitbull, who is clearly not Pitbull. And he's like,
Clearly.
yo, man, I really respect you. Love your music. And the guy's like, thanks, man. Yeah, not Pitbull, by the way. Antonio Brown is, I don't think he's the brightest guy. Maybe he is, actually. I don't know. But he's had some moments, famously ripping his shirt off and running out of the stadium last year against the Jets with Tampa Bay. And now he is he is mistakenly meeting Pitbull on the street. I don't know where exactly it was, but yeah, only Antonio Brown can do stuff like this. I mean, it's insane.
For those of you who maybe haven't seen it, tweeting it out now on @360 Sports Show for making the not list.
I mean, you
Christian, you could have shaved your head, put sunglasses on, just put a suit coat on, and been walking around, and Antonio Brown would come up to you and be like, yo, man, I just saw you at that club. How'd you get here? But you know
Yeah.
what? I love your music.
Yep. I mean, it's so Antonio Brown. I just like,
Can you drop a Mr. Worldwide for me?
you want some. I will not do that. But unless you pay me. But I just think, like, you want some comedic relief. I mean, this is just all time not stuff from Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Who found his way onto. At some point, we'll have to tally, like, individuals who have, like. There has to be a Not of the Year, award. We'll have to.
Yeah.
We'll have to give that
100%.
out with that. Well, if we have, our New Year's Eve, end of year show, Colin, here's the good comment. You can meet Pitbull literally anywhere. He's Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go walk out your door. There's Pitbulls everywhere. Antonio Brown's finding them everywhere. Well, Christian, my not, as promised. I promised. I didn't necessarily promise to you. I promised our listeners. This is a little bit of a throwback from last
In
week.
my opinion, there's 4 teams. It's Tampa Bay, LA, Green Bay, and which one did you just say? I just completely had a brain fart. What team did we just say? I can't remember. Arizona, but then Cowboys. Did I say Cowboys?
Dun
Let me look.
dun 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 boom boom.
Tampa Bay, LA, Dallas. I'm losing my train of thought.
This is fantastic.
Rams.
I'm gonna
Tampa
clip this
Bay,
whole
Green
segment, and
Bay,
we're just gonna
Dallas
replay
Cowboys.
this
I
on
got
Hot
it.
and
I
Not
got
next
it.
week.
I got it.
All right, let's finally hear. Give me
Cowboys,
your top
Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Rams. Okay, those 4, and 2 of those teams I don't trust. I mean, that is up there with Mr. Worldwide being confused for Pitbull for AB. That is
Oh
up
my
there.
god. It goes on. It went on like after that too, where you tried to run the room again, but I had to keep it to like a minute. But
Look, last week, a couple things happened. I forgot that Coach K was retiring at the end of the year, and then I forgot the teams after I just talked about them. It was a rough Monday last week. I don't even know when we were on 21st. Yeah, that one was rough for me. I don't know what happened.
boy.
And completely sober. That's full transparency. I just I don't know what. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know if I got something in my food that night or something. I don't know.
You don't have to apologize, Christian. You're just
I'm not apologizing.
You're just a vessel.
Yeah, yeah, we're not going there. Yeah, we're.
Anyway, I just had to. I promised, as I said in the clip, this is going on the not list. I'm just gonna clip it and replay it.
That might actually be top 5 not of the year, and I'll take it. I will take it. I've out knotted some people now.
We'll have to tweet that one out too, because it's just so good. It's just
That's like a combination of when the host is not listening to himself to the other host. It's just like a combination of everything jumbled together.
Oh boy. So anywho, there is an actual not I want to get to, and that'll kind of transition us into some NBA talk here. Did you see this Jimmy Butler? Talk about the Celtics getting to the top. Well, how about the teams that are like falling down? One of those teams who had been in first place basically the whole year, the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler like wanted to fight Eric Spoelstra in a game last week. Did you not see this?
No, it was Udonis Haslem. He wanted to fight.
Well, they were like getting an altercation, and then Spoelstra's literally saying to him on the bench, "What do you want me to do? Effing fight you?"
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah. Bonkers. Let me try and I'll try and effort finding the clip of this. Absolutely insane. And it's like I think they were losing a tough game. Yeah, here we go. This is from Worldwide Wob, the best of when you want these sorts of clips. Do not need to share audio. So, bing. Oh, that's not the way we want to look at that. Oh, no. Go away, bars. Go away. the best laid plans of my season.
Behind the bars.
Here we go. So this was during the game. Is like Butler started. They had to like hold Spoelstra like is yelling at him. I'm pretty sure he gets up and like throws his clipboard too. Yeah, right there. Bam. Like, and then you had Haslam trying to calm down Adebayo and get. I think that's a Morris who's trying to like hold back Spoelstra, and they're still like chatting.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I don't know exactly like what. Maybe it's come out since exactly what like was being discussed at that point. I don't know, but crazy. Like that's one of the crazier things. Like they're still going at it. Absolutely bizarre. And hey, it's just again it kind of like ties into the Celtics stuff, but like other teams if they decide to like unravel themselves. Oh,
I mean,
man.
hasn't Jimmy Butler been
Nuts.
in conversations like this prior? I feel like.
Oh yeah, I mean
I feel
this
like
is
he's been
just
involved.
like
I don't know.
this is par for his course. I mean, he's had altercations when he was in Minnesota, when he was in Chicago, Philly.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I have to look to see if there's been anything further like explained about this, but just crazy, absolutely crazy. So, had to put it up there on our not list because I thought it was a not. You're supposed to be the top team in the East, and
Especially if they kind of falter here down the stretch. I mean, it's a bad look.
It is. So, let's discuss that here a bit. As we said, the Celtics have for now taken the number 1 seed in the NBA. They play tonight, but no Jaylen Brown, no Jason Tatum, and no Robert Williams.
And no Rob Williams.
So he has a torn meniscus,
He's not.
and he's got 2 options. Get a quick fix kind of surgery and be back in a month and a half, sometime in the playoffs maybe, but have the risk of re-injury and constant issues and all that sort of stuff, or just get season-ending surgery. And I know it was one of those things that unless that's gotten decided here in the last hour.
Udoka said before the game tonight, I guess they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't sound like he's going to play, though. Like, Udoka before the game again said something to the effect of, like, well, he might play maybe. So, like, there's a very double chance there. It sounds like that he's probably done for the year.
Yeah. Which is just so unfortunate. One, because Rob Williams is awesome. Like, I like watching him play.
He's been really good, yeah.
And he's, like, kind of part of what's made them go here. Now, obviously, we know it's Jason Tatum, it's Jaylen Brown. Those are the guys that are going to make, that are going to really be important. I'd rather have those two than Rob Williams and not one of those. But, like, to win a championship, the makeup of this team...
You'd need him to win a championship.
You need Rob Williams. You do. I love Al Horford. He's not going to play 40 minutes a night.
He's also not really a true 5. Yeah, I mean, he's like... Anymore. I like him at 4 and Rob at 5 a lot better than I do, Al at the 5.
Yeah. It just takes away their explosiveness. It takes away their rim protection.
Yeah. He's also good on offense. The lob effect, pick and roll, he's very good. The ball moves well through him. He doesn't hang on to it. So there's a lot to like there with his game. I don't know where he's on the list. Maybe number 4 of importance behind Smart, Tatum, and Brown. If you want to mix him with Smart, sure. But he's definitely on the list. And just in terms of rim protection, how big is he in the paint there when guys are trying to, or even when you kick out to a corner and he's the one rushing that shooter, not many guys are going to make a shot over the top of his leap. So
yeah, it's
a big loss. I mean, it's not the most surprising just because I feel like he has had injury issues in the past, right? So it definitely sucks, especially this year, because I feel like he has been kind of an anchor on the back line, though. And Tice is good, but he's not he's not Rob Williams. Luke Cornett, as Colin says, it's time for the murder cornet. He is not Rob Williams either. So he wears like those he wears like electrician boots to the gym every day. So I don't know, like he's just not the same. He's not the same leaper, I would say.
Yes.
So it's going to be a tough road. Obviously, I still like their chances in a couple series here. Now I don't think they should just get blown off the floor, but
Well, here we go, Christian. Right? I mean, again, things we didn't. A Celtics Nets first round matchup. If you said that 3 months ago, we'd be like, yeah, sure. The Nets are the number 1, and the Celtics are the 8 seed. It's the other way around. If the Celtics wind up being the number 1 or number 2 seed, the Nets, it looks like odds are good, are going to be in the play-in round. So right now they're the 9 seed, and just to kind of refresh for some people who maybe forgot or aren't sure, the way the play-in works is 7 and 8 play, 9 and 10 play. The 9 and 10 team, loser, done. Winner gets to move on. 7 and 8 play, the winner is in the playoffs. The loser plays the winner of the 9-10 game to decide who gets the last playoff spot.
Yep.
So the Nets, if they're the 9 seed, are going to have to win 2 elimination games. If you're the 9 or the 10 seed, you're basically going to win 2 elimination games to get in. They could have to play 2 elimination games, and then you play a series. In all likelihood, you could be playing the Celtics or the Heat, or the Bucks or the Sixers. There could be so much movement here in this top 4, but I don't like that. If I'm Boston, I got no Rob Williams, and I got to play the Nets in the first round.
Kyrie's back.
I honestly don't. I don't feel good about that. As good as this team has played, that's going to be an insanely difficult test, even with Rob Williams, because that team's going to have put some stuff together. Like you said, Kyrie gets to play at home now. You don't just have this like kind of.
Oh, it feels good to be home. Oh, it feels good to be home. Did you hear it? Did you see that?
No.
Oh yeah. I'll find a clip of it. Kyrie. Right. He knows where the cameras are.
You know where I want to put Kyrie, Christian?
Ball locker.
Put him in the ball locker.
And then he said it feels good to be home, and then he went like 6 of 22. So classic. But he is a good player, and in the playoffs, that team's gonna be a tough out for anybody. Now, look, there's still a long ways to go here, especially without Rob Williams down the stretch. How much are the Celtics gonna want to play Tatum and Brown? I don't know, because they're on the injury report with knees. I don't know how much of that is like kind of tweaking things here and just making sure everybody's ready to go. But I don't like the Nets matchup, but I also the Nets right now they're not as scary because they don't play defense. And I would like this. I would probably pick the Celtics if things look okay here without Rob, based on home court.
Hey, let's see here. Whatever. Pay no attention to the bar. Yeah, you said what? Then proceeded to
6 to 22 or something. Yeah.
No, bueno.
I will say, if Tatum can match Durant in a series against the Nets, which is a tough ask, obviously, in the playoffs. But if he wants to be an MVP of the league and he's playing at that level, I still would pick the Celtics, I think, in a 7-game series. I think just because of the home court, I think you have a chance there.
I mean, ask me how I feel in 3 weeks. Obviously, I mean, there's a ton to be decided. The Celtics,
they could also drop to the 3 in like 1 game.
Without Rob Williams here, yeah, they dropped to the 4 seed, and now you're playing the Bulls in the first round.
Yeah, I'd pick the Celtics there,
or
for sure.
Or you're playing the Raptors, or I mean, hey, the Cavs. If the Celtics play the Cavs in the first round, we have to get Zach Weiss back on the show to talk about that series. After we had him on a year ago to talk about Cavs stuff and just general NBA stuff. And I think, Christian, you were a little like, okay, the Cavs, like, whatever. And then it'd be great to have a Cavs Celtics playoff matchup to pick through.
Cavs are still a year or two away.
Yeah, as long as they don't do anything.
I think
stupid.
nobody is going to beat the Phoenix Suns by the look of it, but we'll see. You never know what
Hey, I
happens.
mean, health. At the end of the day, same. It's the scary thing. You're having a great year. It's like all you worry about is like, oh man, can we just be healthy? I mean, that's what Udoka said. I'd rather be the 2, the 3, the 4. I don't care. I just want to be healthy. Come playoff time. Anywho, I still don't think, because where is it? Let me see. Tonight, when does that game start? Oh, it's already underway. And the Celtics are up 4. Starting Nesmith, Smart, Derek White, Grant Williams, and Tice tonight. This is just gonna be one of these things. Like now, everybody's just got confidence and just we can
Certainly
roll out
looks
everybody
like it.
and win.
Hey, I mean, Derek White right now is making some shots finally, so he's kind of rolling.
Yeah. So, we shall see. Something else that could have gone on the not list. We'll hit on a couple of NFL things here. The Deshaun Watson press conference, introductory press conference,
Extremely
in Cleveland.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Very uncomfortable. Just
to say the
awkward. I mean,
least.
one, your ownership wasn't there. This is like you're touting. This is like this is the move that's gonna put us over the top, and blah 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 blah. Owner's nowhere to be found. And also, like by strutting him up there, you're gonna get all these questions. And I just think, I mean, they're questions that have to be asked, but they're just like so awkward, and it's like, and the answers are awkward too, because they almost have to be. Deshaun, like going through all this, like what do you want people to know about yourself? Well, like I just want to. Well, he slipped up. He talked about wanting to get back to the brand, and he said the person, like, yeah, the brand. You want to rehab your image. That's it. You don't care.
Bingo, yep.
So it's just very weird, very awkward. And at the end of the day, the Browns, like, who knows still what could happen with him if he ends up missing any games. Because now there's like another grand jury being brought in to look at different charges, criminal charges against him. So who knows what that could pan out with. And you still have to figure out a way to trade Baker Mayfield, which now that you signed Jacoby Brissett, you've clearly signaled we have no intentions of him being our quarterback. He's going to be like impossible to trade. They're going to have to outright release him at some point before training camp. Like they're going to have to like agree to some sort of restructure and a buyout, because what team, if you're even interested, would not just wait like at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
So the Browns are like, I feel like the Browns are really, this whole trade I thought was like a misstep for them either way. Like, not that Baker's great, but like, you picked him number 1 overall, and you really don't think he can do it? Don't trade the farm for Deshaun Watson. Not right now.
see if they win. I mean, we'll see on the field if it actually pans out. Is Baker the guy? Not necessarily, but also, yeah, I mean, did they hitch their wagon to the right guy, I guess is the question. Now, he does play in the NFL, and they let anybody play. So, like, we got Tyreek Hill running around still, too. So, it's like I don't know. I mean, it's just, it is what it is, I guess. The whole situation has been very, like, yeah, mismanaged is a great word for it. Like, when have they not mismanaged something here? So, and ownership not being there is just, what a look that is. It's just so weird. The whole thing was very odd.
Yeah. You mentioned it too. Tyreek Hill. I mean, this was 2 elements to this. These are the things that become an inevitability. Not that the cap isn't actually crap, because the Chiefs just had to trade away Tyreek Hill because it's just calculus. Hey,
well, no, it wasn't
older.
a cap. It was they don't want to pay him that much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Getting older, don't want to pay a guy, and you have a quarterback making a whole bucket of cash. So, at the end of the day, sayonara. If maybe they have a room, he says, hey, keep the band together, but that, it's not going to happen.
Cap is still
So
crap.
he goes to Miami, which you look at Miami on paper with their skills guys, it looks great, and then you remember that it's Tua.
Well, according to
center.
Tyreek Hill, he's one of the most accurate passers in the league.
If defenses are smart next year, all they do is just double Tyreek Hill
And crowd the line of scrimmage.
and crowd the line of scrimmage. Just don't give up a slant. Tua only throws slants. That's it.
I would put 13 guys up front, including the referees. Just put them all up front, right into his face, so he can't wildcat or do any of that trickery
You think
stuff.
you could the linebacker go, hey, yo, ref, could you, come stand right here?
I want to see if you send, 3 guys out wide open, if Tua can hit 2 of them. I want to see that. So let's test that theory. Let's put 13 guys in the box, including 2 referees, and just see if he gets confused. Now, he beat the Patriots twice, but I don't know how much that means. So I do like the 2 speedy guys on the outside, and ultimately, you just got to get those guys the ball in space between Waddle and Hill. But at the same time, it's like, what was their plan? Maybe Brady down the line? Who knows? I mean, you've heard that out there.
Well, yeah, that's the rumor. I mean, and who knows? There's a long time between now and training camp when things could still happen.
He's not going anywhere this year, but
I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Miami. All I can think of, what I want to say is in relation to something that's in the ball locker, and we'll just have to infer that the Dolphins have now moved themselves up another notch. Right?
Yeah.
We're listing out teams, and they're kind of pecking order in the AFC.
I'm just going to open the locker real quick. Patriots are now what? Number 10 in the conference? 11?
I'd
And
say
close that again.
11 or 12.
Close it.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Close it. I want that thing closed again. Gdunk. Done. Back in the locker. I'm done talking about it.
Yeah.
Even though Belichick spoke today, though.
From a Chiefs perspective.
Yeah.
This is one of the things we said about Patrick Mahomes. Hey, you got the big contract. You've got a ring. Do you become Aaron Rodgers? Do you want to chase Tom Brady? You're going to have to do it at some point without all these weapons. He inherited a Hall of Fame coach, Hall of Fame talent, a great roster, a defense that hasn't been elite but makes plays. Now more and more is going to be on him. Can Pat Mahomes do the same or more with less, the way we've seen even Peyton Manning and Tom Brady do in their careers? Guys like Aaron Rodgers, not so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Chiefs will be absolutely fine without Hill. They still have Kelsey. They still have a couple wide receivers on the outside. I don't know their names. I don't pay that much attention to the Chiefs. But
You don't want to try and name
Sammy,
the Chiefs offense right now?
I'm not doing this again. I'll just look it up to save myself the pain. But I think they'll be absolutely fine. I mean, you look at their team and you go right to the quarterback. So, I mean, look, are they going to need help down the line? Maybe, but I don't know. Josh Gordon? But they have Mecole Hardman still. They have guys like that. So maybe they make a move here. Maybe a Landry, someone like that comes in. But I think they'll be fine. Mahomes can get the ball to anyone. Yeah, or Odell, someone like that, if he plays. And then they get the running backs in space. Kelsey's obviously still a good tight end. So I think they'll be fine.
Yep. So that's about it for the big NFL news stuff. We do have the draft coming up April 28th, I believe, is the NFL draft. Fact check. April 28th. So we are inching towards that, about a month away. A month from today.
It's going to be super exciting. Woohoo.
We will, again, not be getting any sleep, and we'll be going punch drunk, covering the NFL draft for you on April 28th. So, last things here. Let's go through some of the Bruins' instant reaction here. Some early returns from the trades. The win over Tampa. Catch us up on the Bruins, Christian.
Yeah, pretty good right now. I mean, they're They're kind of like the Celtics in that they were really kind of out of it. We're like talking about maybe they blow this thing up this year and just kind of get some draft picks. But they've really turned it around. Big part of that, I think one of the keys, I think, is that line swap between Pasternak going from 1 to 2. Not that the number really matters that much, but Pasternak being with Hall and Howla, who Hall has been very good out of nowhere here, and hopefully he can continue that in the postseason. He was really good in Vegas, I want to say a couple of years ago, during their deep run. So that line is kind of rolling right now. They got Lindholm from the Ducks, obviously, at the trade deadline. He's been pretty good. He's a +3, I think, already in just 2 games. And you can just tell the difference between a top 2, top 4 guy and, a bottom pair. So he's going to help a lot, and they're going to have him for a while. Him and McAvoy have looked pretty good together. And he's a little bit better in space than I thought he was going to be. I know Cassidy kind of mentioned it, that he's like, he does the little things a bit better than you think a guy his size would do. I mean, he's massive, but he can skate a little bit. He's got good hands, and he just takes up space. He's not going to look this thing in the NHL. He's not going to put a guy through the glass and break the glass. That's just not what they do. But he takes up a lot of space. Good on a PK. Can play on a power play. He's not going to like rack up points necessarily, but he's going to be a big help on that left side with McAvoy, and you already see it. So they're kind of climbing up the standings. They're tied with Toronto right now. They play Toronto tomorrow, so that's a big game. And they're only 2 or 1 behind Tampa Bay, so who is kind of teetering a little bit. I think you see a chink in that armor a little bit of Tampa Bay. They've played a lot of hockey in the last few years here. So,
Yeah.
2 cups in a row, going 3 in a row is very tough.
Yeah. I just had the standings, and it disappeared on me. Pull up.
They're in the playoffs for sure. They're about 20 points up on Detroit. So
have to. I won't. There's no shot that they're not.
Will they be able to beat Carolina or Florida? I don't know about that, but
yeah, I mean Detroit. It's not even Detroit. It's Columbus and the Islanders.
Columbus,
who are gonna have no shot. I mean, you'd need Washington to absolutely crap themselves down the stretch for one of those other teams to get in.
I don't see that happening.
But like you said, you're gonna have to go through. I've said it every week. I don't think there's no easy paths in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't know which path you'd prefer, as a wild card team. If you're in the top 3, you're playing your division. I really don't know if I like either path over the other.
I would say I don't. It's not that I want Tampa, but right now the Bruins have played Tampa tough this year, and I think Tampa is there for the taking only because of how much hockey they've played the last 2 years. So that might be the team that is like you can
get them early.
Yeah.
When you're an older team,
right?
Not that you're actually not as old of a team as you've been in the past, but while your older guys are going to be fresher.
Yeah, I mean, I think Carolina and Florida right now are just different animals. Tampa's been like up and down here, down the last 10, 12 games. So can they turn it on? Absolutely, but I find it hard to believe they're going to win 3 in a row. That's just ridiculous. So Tampa might be there for the taking in terms of who you don't want in the first round, especially like if you have to go Florida and then Carolina, like that's a tough road to go through all those teams. Florida would be a very, very tough matchup just because of how physical they are. They're a big team, and they've got skill as well. So between those two are the top of the conference, in my opinion.
Is it fair or unfair that because it's the Hurricanes, I just don't really believe in them? Like,
yeah,
I don't care. I look up, I see 93 points, and I see the games, but like when it comes to the playoffs, I just still have like no faith in them.
They've played that. They're like I think they're 3 or 4-0 against the Bruins this year, and it's the differential is like 16-1. It's they're playing just at another level this year. I'm not sure exactly what changed that. I know they've had some draft picks. They got really good young talent, Aho and guys like that. But they're fast, they're skilled, and they can skate circles around you for a long period of time. It's not the same as the last few years that we've seen the Canes, especially in the bubble. You think back to the bubble, it was just like, okay, this is over.
Yeah.
But they're a different team now, and they're legit. They're kind of ready to make a push, I think.
I wanted to get your thought on a fringe playoff team out west, currently right now in the playoffs. That is the Golden Knights, who at one point had been kind of the NHL's darling. Their first year, they make it to a cup, and everybody feels great. Oh, this is awesome. We love them.
Yeah.
And have now kind of become one of the more hated teams because of their kind of cutthroat attitude with roster management, as they seem to kind of value just getting the next best talent instead of really maintaining chemistry in a locker room. They had a trade vetoed, so Evgeny Dadonov was going to go for old friend John Moore, and Kessel, or Kessler, and some other
Kessler, yeah.
things. Your thoughts on the Golden Knights kind of going from darlings to demons here in the NHL, and will that change? Like, if they want to be a successful franchise, at some point, you can't just keep chasing that cup run. You have to build a team and a base.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's a little bit strange, just the route that they've gone. They got rid of Fleury when he kind of led them on that run. It's just they're and then they went after Eichel, which I guess he fits, but does he really? I don't know. They want. I think they're in the mix for every star player that comes out, whether or not they have to get rid of some other one to get them. It's just a very weird situation. Thinking back to, I think it was 2019, their cup run. It's just they went from like coming into the league and everybody was like, okay, it would be cool to see this team win in their first year. And now it's like they're kind of like a middler. They're like selling pieces off, but getting other pieces. They're in a weird spot. I mean, you look
it's like an NHL franchise. You just they're robots. Just plug and play.
You look at a team like the Kraken that just came into the league as well. They went through the whole expansion draft, and then at this trade deadline, they just like sold a bunch of players off. So they might be trying to kind of build through the draft and things like that. And I think you have to do that somewhat. But I don't really know what the Vegas plan is. Is it just like sell tickets and make money? I don't know. Vegas is a hot place to play, just in terms of they have a pretty good fan base out there, even for like the Raiders. I mean, it's all. I think it's just the way it is in Vegas. Everybody's into everything out there, especially betting and everything like that. So
it's Vegas,
yeah. But they're in a weird spot. They're like going to be in that 70 to 90 point range where they're in the playoffs, but are they good enough? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they're trying to do the same old stuff, and they may not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting to see then how they approach the off season. I think with any team, I mean, the run they had to start was absurd. And you thought, I think there's only 6 guys remaining from that team. And in the NHL, that's just so
Insane.
weird.
Yeah. It's rare.
Because you see these teams that get put together and just are together year after year. I mean, just it felt like in 2013 when the Bruins lost to the Blackhawks, you were like, that's it. That's the last run for this team.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Horton leaves and Lucic leaves, but then like Marchand's still here and Bergeron's still here, and I mean, even though for a cup of coffee this year, Rask was still like the team for the most part. These teams get built and they stay together. Vegas has not built their team yet that they are going to stay together with. So here we go, Christian. Who will make a Stanley Cup final next first? The Kraken or the Golden Knights?
I'm just gonna go Vegas because I don't believe in the Kraken yet.
No faith.
I don't fear the Kraken at this.
Are they
point.
going to turn into a trust the process? Like where it's just
It's
like
very possible.
No, finish last 5 years in a row, and then in 10 years, all these draft picks will be ready. Then Then.
Yeah, then at the trade deadline, they sell all of them off for more draft picks. It might be the Oklahoma City Thunder. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It is Seattle, though. I still kind of want to believe because I feel like their sports fan base is pretty good out there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to be successful from.
But I think they're going to want to win. I think.
Yeah.
But will they? I don't know.
You kind of have to. You can't like lobby. You can't get an expansion team and then just suck.
Well, you probably can. I don't know.
I mean, you can.
Do you want to? No.
Ugh.
It's a tough look for a city like that.
Yeah. Come on, bring it back. We've got passionate fans. We got blah 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 blah. And
Release the Kraken.
Yeah, release them, please.
Yeah, release all of the Kraken. Every single forward on the Kraken is on the trading block.
Yeah. So, anywho, that'll do it for this week's edition of the show. Thank you for those who tuned in live. We are live every Monday, for the most part, at 7:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can also catch the show as a podcast through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcast from. And let's go check. If you're one of our podcast listeners and you want to reach us here, you can always email the show. The 360 Sports Show at gmail.com is the way you can reach us there. And it does not look like we have any messages, whether through our social media or through email, from our podcast listeners. So, that being said, Christian, final word?